Alright guys, we're going to be going over game number one from the scrims the other day. Just to give you a refresher really fast as well on what the teams were. Um, and while we're going into this, we need to just talk about our strengths like throughout the game and everything. Obviously our bottom lane this game is in a poor matchup where it's going to take them time to scale, so they're going to be pushed in a lot, so there's opportunity here for teleport and regular roams, which we make a few of. But in general, we have a pretty poor early game from uh, a lot of different ways, and it puts us behind. But you guys do a really good job of coming back into the game. So we're going to go over key points of why we still should have won this game, because we basically um, got really far behind, and then we made a really nice comeback. You started team fighting very well. Your communication, everything was very good about talking about cooldowns and who you're targeting and things like that. But there's still other parts of our communication that we need to be talking about that we're not there yet. So we're gonna go over some of that and talk about why we should have won and how we should have won. There's just a few things we could have done differently that literally shaped how the game, the outcome went. We're not going to go over a lot of the early game at all because it was just like one thing led to another. They had a level 2 gank on mid and he had a flash, so we lost priority, and then Kane invaded on Phantom, and that's nothing he can do there. Nothing that Kessler can back you up on either because he just got chunked. Bottom lane obviously was down 3-0 how to start the game. We were doing really well top. Um, So we could have played more of our vision around top in the early parts of the game, just to have bottom lane basically try to farm as best as they can from range. Um, Unless we could set up some nice like four-man gank or something after they got a big lead. You had one really good gank where you guys set up, you got the spell shield, and then you killed Morgana, but then we overstay. So we're just going to jump into the first portion of the review. So this is our um, first four-man gank bottom. So this is what I was just talking about. And the main reason why this is something we're going to talk about is because in the actual audio of the um, game where you guys are communicating, you're not going to hear that in this because it's a 3 minute delay and it's hard to overlay. So we have teleport advantage, which Toads lets us know, and we don't communicate this, where we could have just turned this into a 5 man and then a free dragon basically. And there's also a few mistakes that we make during this fight that you'll see. So we start off the fight like this, and we also, that's another thing we don't talk about. Lysandra has TP, which is very important in this fight, and you'll see. So we start off getting a nice chunk damage, everything along those lines. I'm not sure if we had used your E in the river or not, Kessler, but immediately as soon as we engage the teleport from Lysandra's coming out, we should immediately be having our backup TP coming in here as well. Because this wasn't a necessary thing that Toads had to TP. It's a reactive one to make sure that this fight is ours. But we don't have like a ward down in these bushes or anything, so he would have to TP here to get to anything, and we know we have the numbers advantage no matter what. So this is something that could have been set up a little earlier too, and I'll highlight it right here where we can watch. Like you can clearly tell we're not telling him
Probably have
that
to give.
They're
we're
doing it.
not
They're
We
starting
have
it.
the
going
position to do it.
um, down there. Look, he's even able to sit in this spot trying to see if Kane's there, like all the time in the world. And look at this, we're already coming down here. So our communication really needs to be ahead of time. You two were mid and you were Roman. We could have talked about the look. He still hasn't TP'd yet. And this is something I want to talk about as well to you visual. You'll see this throughout the actual game. Sometimes it's just best to do your W and not the full combo. And you'll see that when the Lysandra gets into the lane here. So as soon as your cooldown comes up, the best thing for us is if you just W her out of this, because we're getting this kill no matter what. We're already um, chunked pretty hard, all of us. So the best thing you can do is just W her, just to make sure she's not her E isn't as easy. But you'll do the full combo here. Kane's right there in vision already, and she ends up getting a double kill, and we're now just teleporting. And another thing when we're setting up these ganks and everything is we need to communicate with each other to find out um, what summoner spot lane has. And you'll see Toads gets into the fight down here, and he doesn't know that Zaya has flash, and he ends up dying because of that. So there is just already about three mistakes here that is just communication. And then we could have W'd her away, so her E would have put her back here basically instead. So you guys most likely would live. There would be no double kill. Okay, and you'll this is the part I'm talking about. So she has flash, so he turns on her. You'll see, and then this is where we just yeah. So we ended up losing 4 people, and they only lost 2, I believe, because Morgana did die as well. But it's all communication. We have the numbers advantage there, and we lost 2 more people than they did because our communication isn't clear. We could have set this up with Toads way earlier than we did, and he could have TP'd earlier. You got like everything could have been different in that entire fight. But this is why we just need to clear up our actual communication a lot during these fights, because you'll see it throughout the game as well. Going back to you, Visual, there's multiple times in the game where just Wing would benefit the team a lot more, and just saving your Q for when they come back to just protect basically Indigo and Kessler, because there's no communication from you guys this game about how strong Ezreal and Zillion's poke essentially is, and we just start forcing fights once we get back into the game. So you have that's what I was talking about earlier at the loading screen. Like we have to recognize what our strengths are. So once we get to that point, even if we start off behind in the game, we have crazy good wave clear that if they don't have Baron, they're gonna have a really hard time sieging on us, and that's an easy way for us to get back in the game. We can poke them down and then engage. I know it's kind of unique because we don't see Morgana that often, so the fact that she has a spell shield we have to play around as well, which comes into play a lot too. So they end up overstaying, and you end up getting a kill here, which is great. But so we end up being 3 for 4. But still, since we were 5 vs 4 in this fight, we should have absolutely slaughtered this team fight. So you guys really need to talk ahead of time with each other on making plays. So we'll go to the next part. And you can see at this point of the game that it's only 17 minutes in. We're down a little over or 3.5k down, but we're still relatively strong. Like we have good farm. Remember to count this, so we're not that far behind in farm here. She obviously has more kills and everything like that, and we haven't finished our 2 items on anybody yet, but we'll see. And we got Zillion Kessler's over here with, I believe, Lissandra. So we lose some of our wave clear here. So this is something we need to realize as well. We end up, I believe, doing some good parts of this fight. So look, we're already starting off the fight really well, but we'll see how it transitions. So see, she obviously just committed suicide here, which is perfectly fine. Trading 1 for 1 here is not a bad thing, especially we already know we have Kessler over here. He's getting poke damage, but you'll see. So right at this point, we know that they're all pretty chunked, and what we should be looking at immediately is our wave management. So obviously they're low and it'd be nice to get a kill. So as soon as we get this onto her, like there's nothing much else we can do except for our wave management. So this lane, because this is coming up as well. So we want to be prepped and ready for this already. And we have teleport on our two guys. Kessler's is coming up right now. So we need to, like, this is what I'm talking about when we're behind and we make something good happen. Because look, they even have an infernal. We need to just completely remove the solo queue from our brains so we can make the better decisions. Because our wave management this game is really poor in a lot of cases. So we got Dragon coming up in 50 seconds, which is another infernal. We're still behind some, but we just got some good gold on our side just in the terms of we got extra time now because we got a kill on the Lysandra. They got Jarvan as well, obviously Phantom, but we have all the experience in the world from the waves that we could be literally taking care of right now. Um, but we do a poor job of that throughout the whole game, and you'll see that we kind of go back, but it's not like why is there three people in this lane? We don't. It's not solo queue. You guys don't have to fight over creeps and anything like that. Just go take care of our waves so we can get get ready for what's next. And now there's 30 seconds left, and we don't have anybody in the side waves. So it should have been an immediate recall with one person staying, probably Indigo staying in the mid lane, pushing and shoving that in, and then you two going to the side waves because you have teleports ready. And then when everyone spawns, we're just going to go prep for Baron or for Dragon, excuse me. So, like our back timings and everything. Look, we have Toads just now going back. The wave's stuck up here as well, so this isn't bad or anything like that. But like our timing for all of this is just delayed. So we should already be here and ready or have the teleports ready. Look at the bottom wave. We're just losing experience and stuff that should have been ours for free. And now we're taking poke damage. Look at all that damage Lysandra did. And now look at the top wave as well. We're just you'll see. I don't remember if it's this fight or another one, but at some point there's a wave just smashing into our top turret, and we don't do anything for like 45 seconds. So this is where our fight is very spread out uh, in a lot of cases, but you guys still you have such like because of our zillion like we just got this right here. You guys have such a good team fight still. Um, and most of the team fights you guys did like an incredible job. So right at this point, we know it's the two P4 Dead Phantom super low. This is good by Toads is going back right away, but we need to be like communicating that we can still contest this dragon a lot quicker than we do. So basically, Indigo just ends up like Q spamming at them, but he's alone, so they can finish it before anybody else shows up. And we don't have like a ward down or anything near. So what we could do instead is just literally wave management again. If we don't get here in time for this stuff, we could be literally just taking damage on the turrets. Again, we don't know that they have TP. They get dragon, and then we trade one for one. I'm pretty sure for the Lysandra the Kane, and then we get more kills going down this way, but we're losing so much experience all over the map too. Like you'll see. So like Toads goes in there and just goes in ahead of the time that we can back him up, so he ends up dying. We get 3 for 1 on this, or 2 for 1. I'm sorry, Scion and Lysandra. And now it's immediate communication is like what do we still have? We don't have TP anymore or anything like that. We should probably be just sending Kessler mid and then working on our vision control right now because we have no waves that are prepped to basically push onto a turret. So our vision control is what our primary focus should be right now at this point, at least in the river. Because look at all our pink wards we have in our pockets right now too. So like just small advantages. They just got dragon, but we got an extra kill, um, which is really good. But we need to then just surrender to the idea of like just now deny them and gain experience and gold whatever way we can because we have no real way of like forcing onto a turret because we have no waves prepped because of how everything transitioned from the previous fight. And the next one, and here's the one I'm talking about. You're gonna just see these waves literally just smash into this turret for a good little while. They have bottom lanes pushing on us. Like we have no wave management whatsoever right now. We don't have TP, but we know that they don't as well. So we need to be aware of this stuff too. Like we know that we're behind right now, and they're technically probably a little stronger just in like a skirmish. If we just go balls to the wall, we don't use our poke with Ezreal and Zillion because of the infernals. So these are like the things you guys need to consider. So we like need to catch up with experience and levels and gold and everything like that. So we need to just be thinking about this. You could be throwing your E into these bushes too instead of that stuff, or having um, Indigo start it. So here's the fight that we're going to talk about. So we know where Cyan is as well already because he's doing wave management in mid lane, and we're forcing onto the Kane, who obviously we want the shutdown, but look at he's got the stopwatch. Whoops. There, sorry. He's got stopwatch ready. This is something that I was alluding to earlier. They have stopwatch ready here. They have Zonia's ready here. This is something that I know you guys are not talking about from the few games I've listened to, is talking about the items that they have. This is why I made that little post the other day as well. Um, just understanding that they have this kind of stuff for the fights. We're engaging on the guy who has a big bounty on his head. I understand that, but he's also the most elusive guy in the sense that he has stopwatch and his ultimate takes him out of the fight for a few seconds. So it's we need to play around these things. This is where I was talking about earlier, where we're not talking about like the strength in Ezreal and Zillion, where we can do a lot of damage before we ever engage on these guys. But every single fight this game, we're just literally let's just go forward. That's all we do over and over again. And you'll see this fight because of how it's positioned. And there's even a part after the main fight that happens too that we need to clean up. So Sion, we see Sion as well. So he's going to get a really good ult right into like the heart of our team, separating Kessler from the team, everything. You'll see. So there's stopwatch number one. So right here at this point, you guys actually are still winning this fight. Like we just traded 1 for 1 right now. Even though Alistar visual is about to go down, again, the same thing I was just talking about. Ezreal and Zillion can literally just poke these guys down, but instead we just get blood hungry and Phantom just goes right in and dies. So because we see that they're low, like we just immediately want to go when we could literally just have these two just rain down on them. And then the easiest thing that you guys can do at this point too, this is something that you have to realize. This fight can literally be over. You don't have to chase these guys because now we have all the mid priority in the world, and they still have their first turret. They can't stand at the turret with all three of you. You just babysit them at this point, and then you two poke while you take the turret. these three have to go back. Like there's no way they're going to stay at the turret and try to defend it versus you three. So you guys literally could get the turret here, then recall or get the turret. They'll recall, and then you guys get priority on the vision inside the river here. Um, and then we could start talking about the wave management again because look at the waves are starting to come back to us again in two different lanes. But instead, the whole fight is different because we're just bloodthirsty. You'll just see how it transpires. So I think we end up using the Zillion alt on Indigo right here. Yep. And we get the kill on her. But like, this is just this is just turned into solo queue for this part instead of like we could have turned that into an advantage for us, and instead now they're getting experience that they should not be getting right now, and um, they're doing damage to turrets, and this is them also being really stupid by overstaying. Like once they once they got out of this fight, they're chasing you guys too long. They should have just immediately shoved the wave. They could have got the turret and then exited it. Instead, we end up getting two kills for this. So this is the shit. Like this is a team that's probably been together for a while. That's a university team that we played. So they make mistakes like that too. But this is just simple stuff. Kessler dies here too. This is the kind of stuff I was talking about earlier, where I talked about the other day about you going on some solo adventures, Kessler, which is all good in some cases, but a lot of the times it's not. So you got to make sure that you're communicating with the team. Like you could have just been with this team, the team down here, fighting to make sure we cleaned up that, and then grouped, and then we get the turret. But instead, you end up dying, and yeah. So this is what I'm talking about right here. Look how much damage Indigo just did to this guy. So what I was talking about before, there's no way they could have stayed at that turret. You guys would have just rained down on them. We'd have all the vision in the world. Dragon number 3 is coming up, which I believe is a cloud dragon this time. It's not the infernal, so it's not a big deal if we don't get that one right now. But we gotta really think about breaking down even fights into different parts where we can stop fighting and then take stuff. I'm pretty sure we force on this one as well. Oh no, this is where Kessler gets caught out again. So we have no vision control of anything right here. We only know where these two are right now too. Like we just need to be safer. We just use alt, and then I believe we end up winning the fight, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember this fight right now. Good stopwatch by Phantom. Good flash out. And look, Indigo's just starting to punish them. So this is I think this might be a time. Yeah, so right there again, visual. If you just W Scion out of there instead of the full combo, it's just way better for the team there. Because now this Zaya couldn't be nearly as aggressive. Yeah, we do win this one. But it's just like instances like that where we need to. There's just certain situations where your combo on Alistar is not better. Because we just separate Scion from there, then no matter what, we're going to win that fight. Because he can't absorb a lot of damage, and Zaya's super fed, so we need to make sure that she can't frontline with protection as easily. So, and this is communication here too. We Zillion ult him, and then we don't use it because we don't talk about it. So just it's something simple you guys could be saying like, hey, you can tank this ult time. I'll just ult you. You guys do a good job finishing this. We get toads in here and everything, and then this is literally the point in the game. We'll wait till it finishes Baron. So right here, she just leaves and you guys don't fight. But look, we've been down the whole game. Now we're up gold. We have Baron. We have crazy good poke. We have crazy good wave clear. We can siege on them all day. Like if if they want to engage on us, it's Silent and Lysandra. But we have good disengage with literally Alistar, and Toads can even just ult the backline so they can't really get up to us. So this is the turning point where we should win the game, and we end up throwing them a free kill again for just our us not paying attention. So they got the dragon for free. We don't give a shit about that dragon. We just got Baron. We got all the control in the game now. But if you see where everyone's at, Alistar's going bottom lane for the wave management. Why the hell is someone else not down there, like doing this? And this was talking about Kessler gets caught out and dies. So now our big advantage is gone. And then look, bottom wave management is still just not attended at all. And now they have the numbers on us, so they can split us up. They're pushing the waves in onto us. Everything. This might be the time where the wave just keeps crashing in. So we just really need you. You make a lot of good plays for us, Kessler, but we need you to just slow down a little bit, especially when we have like big advantages like that, because we can literally close out games in this fashion. We literally have no turrets right now, and Baron, we could have literally turned that into at least like 3 or 4 turrets at the very least, and then got a really big lead, and then you guys could have started really taking off with Indigo finishing more items, you finishing more items. Like we gotta slow down. Um, just like our when we come back in games, we can't like get so ahead of ourselves. You'll see that we keep forcing too. We end up losing someone here in a little bit, and then we end up fighting anyway right afterwards, and we're the ones that force it. It's at 33. Oh, so this is another time where we're just kind of doing our thing right now, and I think this is where Kessler dies again. I'm pretty sure. Well, look at the level advantage though Kessler had. Like this is stuff you guys should talk about too. He's 17, she's 14. He's fucking crushing her. Like look at his farm difference. Like we should we should easily win this game, but we just keep making simple mistakes over and over again. You guys do a really good job turning that into a turret at least, but it doesn't have to be us trading a kill to get a turret. You guys are well enough, strong enough with all of our poke and everything like that. So just make sure that we're slowing down with our leads here. So here's the thing. So we know Kessler's dead for 30 seconds. They have everybody up still, and this is where we force onto them, and we got Dragon in a minute and Baron in a minute and a half, and we're forcing, like, we're literally just trying to give them all the vision control in the world. Lose Phantom's GA. Like, there's no way in hell we should have ever even tried that fight, because we just went as soon as we saw one person. We didn't wait to see like where the others were. We just took it. And then this is something that you guys kept doing as well. This turret is really low. You'll see that in a second. You should know that in the game already. And you guys should just be literally going around to the you should just be going up this side into the mid turret, surrendering this turret, because there's no way we're saving that thing. But again, it's just like our thought process when something goes poorly or if something goes really well it's not clean. You guys need to really start thinking about um, like how we can gain small advantages even if we have like a disadvantage right now. Like look at all the waves. Our wave management at this point is really good except for mid. So we should just be concerned about holding the mid inhibitor turret and we'll be fine because they're going to lose experience on the side lanes. So they get this turret, and then I believe they overstay, and we get a couple summoners and the GA. I don't remember if we get kills, but this is them again being fucking stupid too. Like, why are they staying this long versus Zillion Ezreal, which is crazy strong at this point. You just got her GA right there for free. And I think you get a kill onto Morgana for sure. Visual ends up dying, but this is look, we lost alt and visual again because we're just trying to go to ham when we see low health bars. Infernal's up, like we should be thinking about that stuff like ahead of time. So they're gonna get their third infernal. So at this point, there's we know there's four people on this. There's no fucking way that we can contest this. There's no way we can get there in time. So we should literally be, you two should just be hard shoving this and telling Phantom to show up to back you up. Because then they are forced to go back and you're going to get there's no way they'll be able to stay under that turret with you guys there. We have teleport on Toads, he can come in. So we're at least 4 versus 4 because she's dead for 40 seconds. This should end up being um, the mid tier 2. We'll see how it plays out though. I'm pretty sure we get Baron off of is this where we get Baron? Oh no, this is another time where we see red. Kessler goes way too far ahead by himself again, and he ends up giving a kill to them. I don't remember if we get a kill back or not, but Kessler's on he's Rambo this game for sure, and he just dies before he can even ult himself. So again, instead of us getting a mid tier 2 in this instance, like it sucks giving them the third infernal, we could have traded and been perfectly fine still. We get mid tier 2 and we would get all the vision control in the upper river. Look, crabs up, everything. Like we needed that so bad, but we're just forcing. We love the force. Just gotta clean up how aggressive we are at the wrong times. But we'll work on communication a lot too. So even look at Toads. Even Toads' poke if he hits someone is fucking brutal. And we don't talk about that the entire time. We just keep forcing, forcing, forcing. And then here, this is the fight that I was talking about. Okay, look, so we have TP, TP. We don't have vision of this yet, but I'm pretty sure we dropped enough in there, so we don't have control. We both teams have vision. But look at all this fucking experience we're losing up here. Look at that fucking pile. We have TP on two people right now as well. So this could easily be Kessler. We could have Toads down here just shoving in the wave to get the wave managed back in our control because we have both teleports up. So even if we end up losing the teleports to back them off of fucking Baron, you guys are getting all this experience and gold that we're not getting right now. And like as a team, like we could just be three manning here, perfectly fine. Indigo can ult the wave if he needs to just keep everything safe. But instead, we're just in that bloodthirsty mode because we're not thinking about our strengths as a team, which at this point, our poke is fucking insane. And we should just be jabbing them over and over again and then going in once they're low, like as a 5-man unit, not just engaging on them straight away. 37-20. Next one's at 40-30. So again, the dragon is coming up right now, the elder. Okay, and um, Kessler has teleport right now, and we need control of this side lane. So this is just something you guys need to always be thinking about because it's not just like them getting pressure on us, it's us losing experience and gold. Like I know you're level 18 already, but you're not full build. You're 2 items away from full build still, and you have teleport. So you should be the one in that side lane right now, and Indigo should be the one here poking at them. Um, because our top wave looks like it's going to be pushing towards them. We're doing fine, like in the other areas, but this should be you while we set up vision at least, because they're not going to be able to kill this thing in 2 seconds. I know they have 3 infernals and everything, but Indigo's poking them and everything like that, they can't just stand at it. So they have the inhibitor down middle at this point, and they have the Baron buff. Pretty sure we catch the Kane out. So I'm pretty sure we win this fight because of a really nice. Well, obviously this is a really good alt. Like we've done a lot of good things already to start this, and we had GA. This is something also I mentioned to you guys. Just touch on this. You guys need to talk to each other when you have GA ups, and when it's down, as well as your own zonias, just so we can be aware of when to play around that stuff. He's got the GA down. You guys are poking. Look, Indigo's fucking just crushing. You guys are just starting to just destroy these guys in the long fights because of how much damage Indigo and even Toads does a crazy amount of damage. So we get triple kill, and this is where Kessler, you should just immediately be going back to middle to control this. So after we get Infernal, we can buy and already have that wave prepped, and then start looking to what we want to do next. You end up getting to the wave, but it's all the way at the Nexus turrets. So we just think about how, like, we're still down in this game too. We're gonna get Infer or Elder right now, so we're gonna have a really big push on them, and it's just really important that we just think about prepping these waves in any way. So we don't want to lose any parts of our turrets or anything like that. I know we don't lose a lot, but it's almost half, and when it should be zero. So that's just small things. So, and there's just one more thing that we're gonna watch, and I think it's the last fight, the last important part of the fight. So we have Elder. Um, we have TP on Kessler. He just did wave management, which is great. This is coming back towards us right now, and we have the middles pushing towards us because of the supers. So we need to just be talking again about how are we gonna proceed with this, because we end up forcing a really bad fight again when we're not poking or anything along those lines. So, and again, we get forced out of the mid lane, um, which is perfectly fine. They use ults and everything like that, but how everything transpires after this is really poor because we engage with without having a backup um, close enough. And I think at this point of the game too, because of how important it is for like our long fights, especially since you guys weren't poking, I actually think this should have been a stopwatch for you visual. Um, because you can literally hard engage on them, stopwatch to get some of your cooldowns back, and then come out and you can ult then. So you can literally bait a lot of their cooldowns so we can fight around that. Um, and you'll see in this fight it may have helped us some, even though this is a crazy sloppy fight. So we're engaging and nobody's close enough to you yet for this to like be truly impactful. Plus they have Black Shield up still. So this is this is what I'm talking about, like the communication of how we should be handling situations too. Like, look, we even have supers behind us too, and it's just going to be crashing on us. And this is another thing that I was talking about earlier. Like, Phantom's GA is not up either, so we know that we win the 5 vs 5 when we have everything up at this point, but we're just forcing. Like, there's no reason for us to be forcing a lot of these fights, and this is where they teleport behind us, and the game's over. So there's so many things that you guys did really well this game, especially in the standpoint of we were down by a fucking shitload to start this game, um, and you guys did a really good job coming back. But just our mentality of after we get back into a game, our wave management, those simple things, We really need to rein that in so we don't keep making mistakes and losing games that we should really be winning. Guys can talk to me about this in detail if you'd like to, privately, or we can set up a time where we all talked about it together.